Welcome to Clarity Arabic Lab Talk, the space where ancient insights meet modern thinking, and where Arabic epistemology finds clarity through deep exploration. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a surprising subject, the fly. Yes, that tiny creature, but don't be fooled. This little insect leads us to the heart of creation, code, and the mystery of language. You know what's mind-blowing? Scientists can edit genes and create artificial intelligence, but they still can't create something as seemingly simple as a fly from scratch. Today we're exploring why this tiny insect holds profound secrets about creation, language, and the limits of human knowledge.
Well, that's fascinating, and honestly not what I expected when you mentioned flies. What makes these creatures so special from a scientific perspective?
Let me tell you about this incredible verse from the Quran that states, "They will never create a fly, even if they all gathered for it." Now, beyond the literal meaning, it points to something remarkable about natural algorithms and vibrational codes that underlie all life.
You're talking about how flies navigate through subtle vibrations, right? I've read that their neural processing happens in milliseconds.
That's exactly right, and here's where it gets really interesting. These vibrations are actually similar to how human language works. When we speak, we're creating precise sound waves that carry encoded meaning, just like how flies use vibrational patterns to understand their world.
So you're saying there's this parallel between biological algorithms and linguistic patterns? That's fascinating.
And it goes even deeper. The verse continues with, "And if the fly snatches something from them, they cannot recover it." Think about that in terms of modern data encryption. Once information enters a system you don't control, it becomes completely inaccessible.
Well, that's a surprisingly modern way to interpret an ancient text. How does this connect to the Arabic linguistics you mentioned?
Let me break this down. The Arabic word for fly, ذباب, shares its root with bab, meaning door or gateway. So linguistically, the fly itself becomes a symbol of crossing between different realms of understanding.
You know what this reminds me of? The way quantum physicists talk about information being irretrievable once it passes certain boundaries. It's like these ancient insights are being validated by modern science.
That's such an important connection, and it relates to another fascinating concept in the Arabic word khalq, meaning creation. It contains two components, ka for imagination and possibility, and lam kaf for projection into reality.
Well, that makes me think about how scientists work in laboratories. They're constantly trying to bridge that gap between possibility and reality, aren't they?
Exactly, and speaking of laboratories, there's this beautiful linguistic connection where lab represents the inner core of meaning and tor represents the threshold or gateway. Together, they form this space where ideas gestate before emerging into expression.
So if we think about modern research labs, they're essentially trying to decode these natural algorithms that flies embody effortlessly?
Yes, and here's what's truly humbling. Despite all our advanced technology and understanding, we still can't recreate what nature does automatically. A fly's sensory system can detect air pressure changes, ultraviolet light patterns, and even electric fields.
That's mind-bending when you think about it. How much processing power would it take to replicate just those basic functions?
Well, current estimates suggest a fly's brain performs calculations equivalent to a supercomputer, but using only a fraction of the energy. And they do this with a brain smaller than a grain of salt.
You know what I find particularly intriguing? How this challenges our assumptions about complexity and simplicity.
Absolutely right. And it connects to this concept of sealed knowledge in the verse, "Weak is the seeker and the sought." The Arabic linguistics there are fascinating. Al-Talib, the seeker, contains the idea of crossing a threshold, while al-Matlab, the sought, suggests a closed cyclic system.
That's really profound. Like no matter how advanced our technology becomes, there will always be these fundamental mysteries we can't fully crack?
Precisely. And it applies to everything from quantum mechanics to consciousness. Even something as seemingly simple as a fly contains layers of complexity we're still trying to understand. And that wraps up today's deep dive on Clarity Arabic Lab Talk. If this episode resonated with you or sparked new questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Your reflections, thoughts, and even disagreements are invaluable. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform so you never miss another thought-provoking conversation. Until next time, keep seeking.